Hi everyone, I'm instructor Diana Gonzalez, and today we're going to cover borrowing. This is part one of a 2-video topic. So, borrowing, or as I like to call it, the game of loans. As students, the loans that we may come directly into contact with are student loans. So there are two types of student loans out there. We have subsidized student loans and unsubsidized student loans. Subsidized student loans are amazing. Why? The government pays the interest while you're in school. That's great. You're then charged interest once you graduate. Unsubsidized student loans, on the other hand, you are charged the interest from the moment you take it out. For both of these student loans, you're also charged an origination fee, but they charge you that fee and you pay that fee before you even get the student loan. Now, something that's important to note about student loans, the interest is charged only on the principal amount while you're in school, and it's only charged quarterly. So it's not like most conventional loans while you're in school. While you're a student, you get these special benefits. Now we're going to focus on the unsubsidized student loan because the subsidized student loan, although there are different types of repayment plans, you don't accrue anything while you're a student. So let's explore how we can repay unsubsidized student loans back. Now there are several approaches to repay unsubsidized student loans back. These are the two most common ones. You pay the interest as you go, so as you get charged every quarter, you'll pay back the interest. Or you do what I did and you wait until you graduate and you wait the 6-month grace period before you start repaying back your loans. Let's look at an example for each of them. The first one is you pay as you go. Let's suppose that we take out a loan of $5,500 with a 4.29% interest rate on September 1st of 2014, the start of your freshman year. You pay back the interest as you go on a quarterly basis. As I mentioned earlier, that's how often it's billed. So every 3 months. Repayment then begins on December 1st of 2018. So this is after you graduated on June 1st of 2018 and then after the 6-month grace period. Let's disregard that origination fee. What we want to answer is how much are we going to owe if we begin to start paying back the interest on the loan? To answer this question, we need a little bit more information. Let's determine what the length of the student loan is. I calculated the length of the student loan as being from September 1st of 2014 to September 1st of 2018, and then plus 3 months, which gets us to December. In total, this is 48 months plus 3, which is 51 months. Now, the reason why I want to change the length of my loan period to monthly units is that is how we're charged interest. It's every 3 months. So this will help us calculate the total interest accrued. Now let's calculate the rate per compounding period. Our interest rate was 4.29 and they're compounding it quarterly, which gives us a 0.010729. So this is the amount that they're going to charge to the principal every 3 months. This is our principal amount. This is how we accrue interest every 3 months. And in total, every 3 months, we will accrue $58.99 of interest. So now the total interest that we'll have accrued over this 51 months is the following. We have a total of 51 months. We accrue interest every 3 months. And the interest that we accrue every 3 months is the $58.99. So in total, we'll have paid $1,002.83 of interest. Since we paid as we went, the only amount that we will owe once we graduate is the principal amount, or $5,500. This is a great way to approach unsubsidized student loans because once you do graduate, you are only in charge of that principal amount. The interest that you accrued does not get added on to that principal amount. Now, let's look at the example of what I did and not pay back the interest as we went. Math 104 was not a class yet, so I didn't get to take it, but you will learn. Suppose that we take out a total of $20,000 in student loans at a 4.29% APR, and you fail to make the payments for those first 12 months. After your loan is capitalized. Let's hold on a second. What does it mean for a loan to be capitalized? After you graduate, your loan is capitalized, meaning any interest that you accrued while you were in school, that's going to get added on to the principal amount. So if I took out $10,000 of student loans and I accrued $10,000 of interest, very unrealistic, but that is how we would get the $20,000. The interest is being added on to the principal amount. From there, the interest is now charged monthly, and it's charged on that new principal amount. This is why it was not a good idea for me to wait. We want to answer the question, how much does the loan grow? Now again, we did not make any monthly payments, so we get to use our compound interest formula to determine how much the loan grew. The principal amount was $20,000. We had an interest rate of 4.29, compounded monthly for 1 year, so T equals 1. And in total, our total loan is now $20,875.07. Now, a good follow-up question here is to see what is our APY after this year. Since we let our loan sit, we can use our effective rate formula to see how much, what our true APR was after letting the loan sit. So in our scenario, again, our interest rate is 4.29%. Compounded monthly. From here, we get that the effective rate, or the APY, is 4.38%. This is bigger than the APR that was given to us. So if you don't pay back the interest as you go, you're not actually being charged 4.29% APR. You are actually really being charged 4.38% APR, like in terms of simple interest. This may not seem like a big jump in terms of percentages, but when you're applying the percentage to such a large quantity, this is an increase of several $100s. Now, let's look at an example of a conventional loan. So a conventional loan is something that you'd get when you're buying a car, when you're buying a house. Here, we're going to visualize the scenario, the following scenario. We borrow $100,000 from the bank at a 6% APR. We agree to pay back the principal and the interest every month for 30 years. Now, this borrowed amount, this is going to be our $100,000. This was the amount that we borrowed. What this visual illustrates is that this rectangle right here, which is the first part of the interest, is the exact same size as the amount borrowed. So what can we conclude? After 30 years, you will have accrued over $100,000 of interest, meaning the interest alone is bigger than the amount that you originally borrowed. That's a lot of money going to interest, and this is how banks make money. Now, this right here is a monthly payment. There are different ways for calculating the monthly payment, but if you go through a bank, they'll set up an amortization table, which we will learn how to do in the next video. And in setting up this repayment plan, they assume that you're going to make equal monthly payments. And every monthly payment, part of it goes to the interest and part of it goes to the principal amount. Now, this is a typical scenario for most conventional loans that end up being borrowed for such a long period of time. What typically happens with these conventional loans is that the amount that you borrow ends up being not even half of the interest that you end up paying. So the interest is very big because you let money sit for a large period of time. Let's look at an example of a conventional loan. Mine. So when I was a student for the master's program, I took out 4 different loans. One of them, loan A, was subsidized. The rest were unsubsidized. Here we can only see 3 of the loans. Once you graduate, as mentioned earlier, your student loans become a conventional loan. And then after that, there are different approaches for repayment. You can first consolidate your loans where they will sum up all of the principal amounts and take the average of your interest rates, and you'll only have one principal amount, one interest rate, and you can make monthly payments to that. There are also different types of repayment plans where your monthly repayment, or the way that they calculate your amortization table, is dependent on your salary, on how much you make. So over here in yellow, we can see the principal balance for each of my loans. I did not consolidate my loans, so that is why they're still grouped separately. Then in orange, you can see the APR, and the APR is the number of compounding periods per year times the interest rate per compounding period. So I have four different interest rates. I didn't want to consolidate because this interest rate right here is really low. And if we find the average of the interest rates, as you can see, all the other interest rates are higher than that. So my interest rate would be higher than 4.29%. Now, I did not set up an amortization table with an outside source, nor did I sign up for a repayment plan. I used the formulas from Math 104 to set up my own amortization table. Amortization is the action of repaying back your loans in regular installments. When I first started paying back my loans, I was not making the payments the same. Later on, I started to make them kind of the same. Now, in this first column, you see the payments that I made to my student loans. But these payments they're applied to two different sources. Part of the payment goes to the principal, part of the payment goes to the interest. The part of the payment that goes to the principal amount here, that is called equity. Something you should know, in any type of conventional loan, the first few payments that you make, which are the ones here at the bottom, the first few payments we make, most of the payment is applied to the current interest. As you make more payments and as the amount of the payment increases, more of the payment will go towards the principal amount. So you can see in these first ones, like about 50% of the payment was going to the interest and 50% was going to the principal amount. But now that I've paid off more of it, for example, in March, less than half of the payment that I made went to the interest. I hope that you have learned from my mistakes and you can make well-informed decisions when you're taking out loans. Have fun shopping!